WDAS and WD273D Philadelphia is Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. The clock's ticking toward kickoff. This is Countdown to Payout. Your 2-hour sprint through the spreads, props, and fantasy plays that cash tickets on NFL Sunday. Now, here are your hosts, Sean Brace and Roy Burton.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Week 5 Countdown to Payout here on Fox Sports The Gambler. As always, Countdown to Payout brought to you by our good friends at Attorney Big Al. Big Al, 1-800-HURT-123. Injured at work, involved in a car wreck. There's only one man to call, and that is Big Al. Don't think twice. Call 1-800-HURT-123, and Big Al will be on the call. That's 1-800-HURT-123 for Attorney Big Al. Jon Jansen, we're all a bit hurt from that Phillies loss last night, but yeah, we have an Eagles game that may make us feel better.
Will it?
Will it make us feel better? Hopefully. Eagles, Broncos, 1 o'clock. Lincoln Financial Field. The Birds, 4.5-point favorites, 44.5 is your total on DraftKings. We got to be honest, folks. Jon Jansen and I, if you guys are coming here waiting for the warm hug, waiting for the optimism for today's game, it ain't coming. I'm sorry, John. I do not like this spot for the Eagles for several reasons, namely the Broncos defense. I don't like the spot. I'm sorry. It's not a good game for you today. I don't see a win.
No, they're going up against a really good defense with one of the best defenders in football in Surtain, and that's going to make things. It was already frustrating to watch the Eagles passing game. It's going to be even more frustrating today, I think. And it's just something that they need a wake-up call, I guess, of some sorts. Like, one loss doesn't hurt anything in the grand scheme of things. They're 4-0. They're in a great position to win this division. Washington, Dallas, Giants all don't look like they can keep up with the Eagles. One loss is not going to kill them. But it's almost like it's kind of needed at this point. Like, you cannot continue to play the way that you think you're going to win in those ways. And look, they've created all of these special teams plays. They've created all of these things defensively. And they're playing really well in the small margin, which usually I love when I'm leading a team. In red zone opportunities, short yardage, that is still the Rams. The Rams are a better team than the Eagles, or at least playing better, but they're losing games because they're losing in those margins, like a 4th and 1 in overtime. The Eagles are winning those things, but eventually you're going to have to start moving the ball more consistently, and the passing game is going to have to do it. So I just think this is a perfect recipe for them to just kind of lose this game, just because of the matchup and the way that they're playing.
Yeah, speaking of perfect recipes, we should say before we get started, shout out to Natalie Eganoff, Breakfast Before the Birds, came in with the bison burgers, with the caramelized onions, the Godchild's beef bacon, the
spicy legitimately saved my life.
I think,
I think I owe Natalie my life.
It gave us a little bit of optimism heading into today, so kudos.
It made
to
my mood instantly better. My tummy feels good. All the stink of last night's defeat has now gone away.
Yeah, the stink of last night's defeat hopefully going away. Hopefully we'll have another stink of defeat coming today. We'll get deep on the Eagles. We'll talk, of course, all things NFL, Week 5, fantasy, DFS, all sorts of good stuff. But as always, we start with the Cover 1 segment. We go with a deep dive on the biggest game of the day. Of course, that is Eagles-Broncos.
In football, Cover 1 means man-to-man. On this show, it means one-on-one with today's biggest topic.
And, of course, today's biggest topic, Eagles-Broncos. Yeah, Eagles, 4.5-point favorites. The line now is 4.5. That went up a little bit over the past week. Eagles, our Eagles team, NFL history, start 4-0. 4.2 yards per play or fewer, which is pretty difficult to do.
That's so hard to do, but I don't get why people can't, because it's like, oh, well, they're 4-0. There's no problems. I'm like, that sounds like a problem to me.
First team to start 4-0 while averaging less than 260 yards per game. If you want to just compare it to last year, just get it for just a little baseline. Last year, the Eagles team averaged 5.6 yards per play and 367 yards per game. So this team, averaged 115 more yards per game. That's 30 yards a quarter, extra yards per quarter than this team is averaging right now in the 2025 season. Of course, obviously, the mostly focuses on the passing game, which is averaging a robust 138 passing yards per game, ahead of Cam Ward and the Titans. That's it. The only team averaging less passing yards per game is the Tennessee Titans, whoever quarterback, and basically nothing wide receiver. I'm just going to throw off some numbers, John, because again, I think people don't understand how dire this thing is on offense. 30th in yards per play, 29th in yards per rush, 25th in yards per pass, 23rd in sacks allowed, 23rd in first downs per game, and over 45% of the Eagles' drives this year have ended up in 3 and out. That is not sustainable winning football. I'm sorry. When you play good teams like Detroit, you play at Buffalo, you get later in the season, when teams figure out their offense, when teams kind of come together on defense, those teams, if the Eagles play those teams, they would get smoked playing like this. Like, this is not sustainable football, which is why we need to be critical now, because, again, this is the time at 4-0. You have a little wiggle room, right? You can lose a game or two, still have a lead in the division while you figure things out. And I think this is going to be one of those games.
Yeah, it's going to happen soon. So it's been hard because feels like we've been trying to predict that game for a little bit. It felt like the Rams were going to be that game. This one feels like it even more, just because I think the issues are now it's gradually getting worse. The passing offense, I think, it's gone to such an extreme. When you go 2 halves of football without doing anything in the passing game, like negative yardage or no complete passes,
right.
That's an extreme that you can't keep doing every week, and those extremes are going to eventually bury you. Not to say that all can't be changed, because the talent's great. Like, the talent is all there still. And A.J. Brown's still a really good wide receiver. Devontae Smith is an excellent wide receiver, too. And it seems like him and Jalen Hurts have been a little bit better of a tandem than Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown lately. So maybe we can see more of Devontae Smith in this game. I imagine his hand's going to be mostly on A.J. Brown. I don't know if he follows or shadows any wide receivers, but this could be a Devontae Smith game. But they need to get going. Devontae Smith's great. A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley needs to get involved. This is a talented offense. They just got to figure a way to put it together. And that's the hard part. Is like, I don't know where you put the blame on it. And to me, it's all minor things compounding together to create one large problem. I don't think it's just play calling. I don't think it's just the quarterback. I don't think it's the offensive line. I think it is the whole operation. It's just a little bit off in every area, and that is just making the team so much worse.
So I think you're correct, but I guess we can put this on the poll. We can put it on the poll, John. What is the biggest area of concern for you for this Eagles offense? I think if I had to, my friend and I call it the pie chart of blame, right? Like there's 100% of blame to assign to everybody. Who gets the biggest slice of the pie chart? For me, it's probably the offensive line, because I think this team really goes as the offensive line goes, and this offensive line has been, quite frankly, they've been subpar, right? They haven't been good. Like Dickerson, and I'll say this: the tackles have been fine. Like Bane's been hurt, kind of in and out last couple of games. He's been fine. Jordan Mailata is just all world, like absolute stud. Like, he's fine. But those guys on the inside, Brandon Dickerson, Kevin Steen, Kevin Steen, Kevin Owens, Tyler Steen, and Cam Jurgens, they haven't been good. They've combined for 26 pressures allowed through week 4 of the season. And their PFF run blocking grade, the 3 of them combined, 57.8. Now, again, you don't have to be the biggest PFF in the world to kind of understand it. Like, that's not a very good run blocking grade for your 3 interior linemen this year. And Dickerson, I don't know if you believe this. I think he's still kind of bothered by that knee injury. Because again, he's one of the better interior linemen in the NFL. His pass blocking grade by week, according to PFF, 39.9, 56.1. 47.5 and 40.5. I mean, he just hasn't been, an average, above average, interior lineman this year. And again, like, when you're not getting that line opening up holes for Saquon Barkley, just everything else in the offense is just stagnant, and you can't get anything done. So if I had to assign the biggest piece of the pie to anybody, for me, it would be the offensive line.
Yeah, I guess that probably would be the number one thing, because that once that issue happens, I think it plays into some of Jalen Hurts' worst issues, which is I don't think he's great with traffic around him, especially when it comes to passing. But that would explain a lot of what's going on, because if the offensive line is giving him that pressure, there's a little bit more traffic around Jalen Hurts, can't either step into throws right or a little bit off his platform. The timing is off because of that as well. That leads to so many little miscues. And I think that's what's happening, because if there's a lot of traffic around Jalen Hurts, he has to take his eyes off of down the field and the receivers running routes and has to look at what's happening in front of him. Or he can't step into a throw, so he overthrows Jalen or AJ Brown or underthrows it, or like we've been seeing, I think, a lot. It's more balls like going deep that have been just straight out of bounds, just not catchable. But there's been a lot of that, just not catchable balls, and I think the offensive line problems would explain probably a lot of that. And the cause for it's just the first domino piece that happened, and it causes everything else to kind of fall apart.
You mentioned Devontae and AJ before, and then I do want to circle back. There was a report this week from Diana Rossini from The Athletic saying that both Devontae Smith and AJ Brown were unhappy with their roles in the offense, particularly in the red zone. Of course, this comes on the heels of AJ Brown posting that cryptic Bible verse after the win last week when he had 2 catches for 7 yards. Those catches obviously in the first half, since the team did not complete a single pass in the second half of last week's game. AJ Brown posted a quote from Mark 11 quote, or the verse Mark 6:11 quote. If you're not welcomed, listen to, quietly withdraw. Don't make a scene, shrug your shoulders, and be on your way. On Wednesday, he was asked about the Twitter post. He said he apologized. He was kind of caught up in the heat of the moment. He said it wasn't directed at anyone in the building, which I think is a lot of baloney. Just kind of malarkey. But that being said, I think we're kind of past it at this point. What do you think, or what do you think AJ Brown's frustrations? What do you think they lie in? Is it because of the play calling? Is it Jalen Hurts isn't looking his way? Like, if you had to kind of go inside the mind of AJ Brown, what is the reason for his frustration?
Maybe play calling could certainly have a part in it, but again, I feel like AJ Brown is getting targeted, is getting balls thrown his way. The problem is they're just not catchable, and that's not strictly just on Jalen Hurts too. I think, like you said, Roy, it's offensive line, so he's getting opportunities, but it doesn't feel like good ones, and he needs to be involved for them, because I think he said it. He needs to be involved for them to really open things up, and I think the Rams game is a great example of that. He started catching a couple of passes, one big one down the field, and it opened up everything that he was passing offense. Right. So he is one that just is the one that makes everything go, and so he needs to get involved. But it's just I think he's probably frustrated with not the lack of opportunities, just the lack of good ones. Just balls again have been thrown his way, just none of really great quality.
Yeah, I saw a stat, and I wish I had it in front of me, but I think it was like AJ Brown has received like roughly 30% of the targets in this Eagles offense. Like when they throw the ball is going in AJ Brown's general direction. But to your point, like they're like 3-yard slants or over his head, or just not quality targets. I mean, like I think we do need that. We need to have a referendum on targets.
Yeah, right.
In general,
the quality of targets is
not every target is the same target. And 33% of the targets AJ Brown, yes, he's getting the ball thrown in his general direction, but if they're not good targets, what's the point? So I think that's kind of the crux of it. And of course, AJ Brown's not getting not being able to get loose. That means that leads to Saquon Barkley not being able to get loose as well. Only 3.1 yards per carry this year for Saquon Barkley. Last year, all road season, 5.8 yards per carry for Saquon Barkley. And I think this team is going to have some tough sledding against a very, very good defensive Browns defensive front. Nick Bonito has been fantastic this year. 4.5 sacks, 30 NFL. The team leads the NFL in sacks, Denver, 15, second in pressures. Only 2 passing touchdowns allowed this season in 4 games for the Denver Broncos. I know, Eagles are 4-0, and you're optimistic, and you're at home, and probably should beat this team. Talent, man, Amano. This is just lines up really bad for Eagles team that's struggling, especially in the passing game. Sorry.
Yeah, and they're the better, more talented offense.
Yeah,
like Bo Nix, Cortland Sutton, J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey. Like, it's okay. The Eagles are loaded. They should be able to beat Denver. They should be able to beat this defense. But right now, the way that they're playing, it's just not good enough to do that. And I hate to do this because I guess I will preface it by saying I think at times Jalen Hurts has put up MVP play. And I thought coming into this year he was going to be an MVP candidate. I've been very high on Hurts. So this is not critical just to be like critical of him and say like, oh, this is what he is. But let's be honest, Jalen Hurts has had some really bad halves. A lot of the problems are He has been inaccurate at times. He does seem to be a little bit antsy in the pocket and making errant throws. And I think Tampa Bay, there was a lot on him. I think he missed a lot of throws. Even some of the ones that AJ Brown caught, it was way behind him, and he had to make a really good catch on it. So that Jalen Hurts has to clean that up. Again, it's still great. And I think he's a very good player. But yeah, I think quarterback needs to get not called out, but things need to be straightened out a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to clean that kind of stuff up today. Against a Broncos team that again, 15 pressures a game. I mean, like this is a team that's going to be in the backfield quite a bit, especially with the offensive line playing as poorly as they have been this year. The Broncos, they're 2-2. They're a pretty decent team. I mean, both of their losses came on people literally at the final play of the game. They beat the Bengals 20-3 on Monday night. To your point, Bo Nix, not the greatest quarterback. He's been fine this year. 861 yards, 7 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He kind of had a really strong coming out party as a rookie last year. Kind of fell back there this year, but again, he's on pace for 30 touchdowns. So I'll take that every day of the week out of my second-year quarterback. Cortland Sutton, very good wide receiver, 266 yards and 3 touchdowns. Leads the team in both of those spots. J.K. Dobbins, NFL rushing, a guy we both like, R.J. Harvey. Probably going to be one of the better young running backs in this league. Both of those guys averaging 5 yards a carry. This is a really talented offense. Eagles, meanwhile, are averaging 4.8 yards per carry. So, again, this is a team that can take advantage of the Eagles' weaknesses on defense. And then when you flip the script on the other side, you talk about the Broncos' offense. Obviously, you talked about their defensive line. Patrick Surtain, I think he's a traveler. I think he is a traveler. I think Patrick Surtain is probably going to get that A.J. Brown assignment, 70%, 80% of the time.
It's going to be frustrating.
If you think A.J. Brown was frustrated last week,
it's going to be frustrating.
He might post the entire book of Ecclesiastes, after this one, if Patrick Surtain's on 85% of the time. He just won't get up. I mean, Surtain's locked up. He locked up Mark Chase last week. He's literally the reigning defensive player of the year. This is not a good spot for A.J. Brown. To that point, I think if the Eagles passing offense does get off today, I think it might be a Devontae game. I think Devontae and Dallas Goedert might have some opportunities with so much being focused on A.J. Brown. I think this might be the time for Devontae and Dallas Goedert.
Yeah, I definitely would be more on Devontae Smith in this game. I think he can have a big game. Maybe. Can we get a 100-yard game from a wide receiver? Can we do it? Can we get over 100 yards for Devontae Smith?
It'd be nice. So,
you're not buying it.
I'm not going
one step at a time, John.
Let's get a functional offense, John, and then from there we got to go on.
Yeah. And the one thing I will say, Eagles are winning again in the small margins. They do really well in the red zone. They do really well in short margins. So they keep going. So that's phenomenal. Denver does seem to lose in those areas a little bit. They have lost a couple of games, like you said, at the buzzer in some weird ways. So that is a part of Denver. That is something that has kind of carried through them this season. They have played well in those games too. I think they had every chance to beat Indianapolis. They had every chance to beat the Chargers, but they sometimes beat themselves.
Right.
So that sometimes doesn't work well when they're doing all at least those little things.
I don't know if you've looked at any of the player props today. I don't like anything player prop wise. Not a single thing in this game player prop wise. I don't touch anything. A.J. Brown, 59.5. I mean, I'm not the guy who plays unders. I'm not, I don't want to root against guys from being successful in the field. But if I were to play that, I would play the under. Devontae Smith over 46.5 receiving yards.
I could get on board.
I may be inclined to lean towards that. Dallas Goedert 31.5 receiving yards again. I may be inclined to do that. But yeah, I don't really nothing really to me jumps out of this game as far as props and even the rushing yard props. Saquon Barkley 81.5. I gotta see it, man. I just need to see Saquon Barkley just have one of those signature Saquon Barkley games where he goes off for $130, and then I'll kind of feel more comfortable betting this. Actually, maybe more inclined to bet the Broncos props, to be honest. J.K. Dobbins 51.5 rushing yards. I kind of like it. I mean,
the only other one I like is also a Broncos prop bet. I like Bo Nix anytime touchdown.
Bo Nix. What's the number on that?
I think plus 500.
Is it plus 500? Real 500. Real. I kind of like that.
I'm by that.
I kind of like that. Yeah, plus 500.
I can see it like a little bit of chaos. Eagles secondary is good, and Bo Nix just sneaks one in.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, before we go to break, I gotta throw one in there. I gotta throw one in there.
I hate to play that one.
No, plus 500 is really good. That's a really good number on that. Anytime TD for Sports Saquon and Jalen minus 145. For those who find that. Yeah. Look, all right. Let me be optimistic. All right. The Broncos 1-7 in their last 8 road games. All right. Like that's not good anyway.
On there, Sean Payton.
This team clearly is a team, and again, coming from the central time zone on the East Coast, 1 o'clock game, maybe that matters, maybe it doesn't. But again, like that's a stat you want to look at. And we are coming off of our own reigning player of the week, Quinyon Mitchell, having one of the best games of his career. 5 passes defense, allowed 2 catches for 6 yards last week on 9 targets. If he can keep Cortland Sutton in check, maybe the Eagles can kind of keep the game close and not let the Broncos kind of run all over them. So I think there are reasons to be optimistic about this game. I still like it, John. I think it's a 20 to 17 Broncos.
Yeah, I'm even going further down, 17-13.
So if I think a defensive struggle, or is it a defensive struggle, or just 2 offenses that just can't get it right?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
I like both defenses, especially Eagles defense, just not giving up any extra yardage. They tackle so well.
Yeah.
They make explosive plays themselves, which is really great to have for a defense. They do all this, but on the other side, Denver does the same thing. So I just think it's 2 really good defenses and 2 offenses that are kind of – I just think Denver is struggling, but again, it's not perfect. A lot of missed opportunities in that offense, and I'm not the biggest fan of.
So early results on our poll, the biggest issue with the Eagles offense, 52.6% of the respondents have said it is play calling. 26% say offensive line, and 21.1% say it's Jalen Hurts. I get it. Play calling is a thing that you can obviously see, right?
I hate play calling.
I do, right? It's like the thing. We were just watching a game, and a play doesn't work. You're like, oh, the play calling stinks.
We have done this every single year for like a decade now. For like after the Super Bowl, like Doug Pearson's play calling was starting to get questioned a lot. Like we do it all the time.
Last year, Kellen Moore.
Yeah, Kellen Moore, right? Kellen Moore, Nick Sirianni, even Shane Steichen was getting some of it. I think at times, like all the time, we have, especially the last 3 years, we have just done this so much. I'm tired of it. Like I sometimes, man, I just think these guys aren't playing well. And Jalen Hurts is part of that. AJ Brown and Marcus Smith, offensive line, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I can't just go to play calling.
Yeah, the plays have not been great this year. Like a lot of the plays that we've seen have not been great this year. Like you and I were joking before the game. We saw Minnesota do something, a little bit inventive on offense. We haven't seen too much invention on offense, by the Eagles. Too much innovation on offense.
So why do you think that? Because I feel like that's been that way for a while. Even Kellen Moore did a little bit, but didn't stray too far away from what the Eagles really have been. Because I don't even think he did motion all that much, all those things. Yeah. Is that just a Nick Sirianni thing? Like, is this just – are the Eagles pretty vanilla because they want to be? That's what Sirianni was when he first came.
Right. That's a really good question. I think because this year I thought it was, Patillo's, I don't say a disciple, but kind of a more disciple. They're doing similar things as far as, the lack of motion and things like that. It really could be a Sirianni thing. Now that you bring it up, I don't hate the theory
because it's been a common complaint, common thread in every single season, even the good ones, even last year. Right. That there's a lack of creativity. I just think the Eagles keep things simple. And look, at another part of that too is Jalen Hurts does some things extremely well at an elite level, and some things he doesn't. And I think sometimes they cater that offense towards him. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I just think that's the kind of offense he's comfortable with. Maybe can he do a little bit more? But it's not like they're going to get all air raidy, going crazy, throwing 40, 50 passes. There's a certain way they like to run the offense, I think, with Jalen Hurts there. And it's been very successful. It's not to say it can. But when all those complaints start to happen about, well, why is the play calling like this, or why does it seem like a certain way? I think that's by design. It's been like this for years now.
Yeah, and to your point, like I would assume that Jalen Hurts or at least Jalen Hurts goes into Kevin Steele's offense every week to say, these are the 20 plays I like, right? Let's run these, right?
Absolutely.
And I think Kevin Steele says, okay, we're going to run all these.
But I think we saw, if somebody doesn't believe that, we saw an example of it with last year. Dagger was a play that Jalen Hurts really. He's like, that's a throw I am so comfortable making. Right. and we need to call it. So yes, Jalen Hurts is in those rooms making those decisions.
But if that's the decisions that are being made, or those are the decisions that are being made Thursday, Friday, whenever they're doing the install, how come it's not working on Sunday? Like, if these are Jalen Hurts' most comfortable plays, where's it falling apart? Right. That's my question, right? Like, it has to be falling apart somewhere. Execution. Whether the receivers not getting open.
I think it's more execution from what I see. I think it's all these little small things that keep happening, and it compounds into one big problem. I think it is missed throws from Jalen. I think it is the offensive line not giving him time. Miscommunication with Jalen Hurts and the receivers. It is all of the above. So I think it's all these small issues. It's execution to me.
So we hate to be Debbie Downers here.
We haven't been doing that. Good God.
But anybody out there listening, please hit us up on Twitter, hit us up on Instagram, hit us up on Facebook, whatever. Please tell us why we should be optimistic about this game. Because again, we're on here and for another 90 minutes or so, and we need to find some optimism. We need to find that sunshine, in the midst of the clouds that's going to tell us the Eagles are going to win.
Being perfect in the red zone would help that out.
Well, they have been perfect.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like that's at least something.
Yeah, we know a little something. So please hit us up on Twitter at FoxPHLGambler. Please let us know why we should be optimistic about the Eagles going 5-0 this week or today against the Denver Broncos. But that's it for this time. On the other side, we will run down the rest of Week 5 in the NFL. You're listening to Countdown to Payout, Fox Sports Gambler.
The Bonus Bucks Cash Contest is back. That's right. Every weekday, we're dropping code words.
Say play calling because stuff just doesn't work. It's not just play calling. It's like
you could be counting cash. It's over. It's easy to play. Big money on the line. 9 times a day, top of the hour. Hear the keyword. You can win $1,000. Your shot.
I never thought about it. It might be a Sirianni thing.
Right here.
I think this is what they.
This is Jim. Hello. Jim started advertising with iHeartRadio way back in April. And now
I have customers out the door.
And this is Sarah.
Hi.
She started putting a portion of her marketing dollars in podcasting back in June.
Business is booming. That's why I'm working on a Saturday.
Want to be like Jim and Sarah? It's easy. All you have to do is own and manage a business and reach out to iHeart. Get started today at 844-844-iHeart or iHeartAdvertising.com.
Yeah.
Mike McDaniel's gonna get fired. I would bring him in.
I was like, I'm not like Mike McDaniels is not a head coach, but he can do some things.
Yeah.
His
His
offenses,
especially with his running game.
Yeah.
Every running back in that backfield.
You need
They've been fantastic.
Undo your flu with
Imagine
NyQuil
that running
Flu.
scheme.
NyQuil Intense Flu.
With this line,
Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
So you can sleep.
It was like Raheem Mostert, like 25 touchdowns. It was like,
NyQuil Intense Flu. Nighttime sniffling, aching fever. Best sleep with the flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Time now for your Sunday BetMGM Baseball Buzz. A pair of game twos in the American League Divisional Series. In Toronto, the Blue Jays host the New York Yankees. In Seattle, Cal Raleigh and the Mariners.
Look at the Detroit, look at the Chicago's, like look at the stuff that they do on offense. Like
Series, they'll resume tomorrow in Milwaukee and Philadelphia. Step up to the plate with BetMGM, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Bet on any MLB game to activate an odds boost token.
I think it's just because
You'll score a bigger payout. No optimism.
not dumb. Yeah.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly.
No, like, I think it's to your point. It's like Jalen says, this is what I'm comfortable with. And it's like, okay, we're going to run it because
New York, Nevada, Ontario, Puerto Rico. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, call 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 1 to 7 days. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. And that's your Sunday BetMGM Baseball Buzz.
After I came home from Iraq, I could still hear the booms. Makes it hard to be a good mom.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
I'm Naomi Mathis, Air Force veteran.
DAV helps veterans get the benefits they've earned.
Thanks to DAV, I was able to begin to heal.
With the right support, more veterans can reach victories great and small.
My victory is being able to be here for my children.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Hey, man, you all right? Need me to call 911? No. Call Top Dog Law. Get top dollar for your accident at topdoglaw.com. Once again, that's topdoglaw.com.
Spreads, totals, and all the prop bets in between. It's the Gambler.
baby. Week 5 of the NFL. Unfortunately, it's a week with 2 buys. So we have a couple of less games to enjoy this week here in week 5 of the NFL. But before we talk about everything this week in the world of football, we do need to give a shout out to our friends over at Attorney Big Al. If you've been hurt in an accident, one call is all you need. To call Attorney Big Al. With years of experience fighting for accident victims, Big Al knows how to get you the maximum settlement you deserve. Don't let insurance companies push you around. Big Al and his team are available 24/7 to fight for your rights. So remember, if you've been injured in an accident, call Big Al at 1-800-HURT-123. That's 1-800-HURT-123. Attorney Big Al, he's got your back. And ladies and gentlemen, we have your back here on Fox Sports The Gambler. Your countdown to payout week 5. Brock Bowers, according to Jon Jansen, officially out. So for those of you who have him in your fantasy rosters, on your DFS rosters, please make a note and get him out of there. Because
so who are we streaming at tight end then, Roy?
Well, I think that's a good question. I know he's out. I know Mayer's out for the Raiders. So you don't have to stick with the Raider, but I think Albert O is next man up in the Raider.
Albert O?
I think he's the next man up
I didn't know he was still around.
On the Raiders side. I don't know if Mason Taylor's out there. I like Mason Taylor this week. I'm pretty
perfect.
Decent.
I see Mason Taylor out there.
There you go. I like Mason Taylor. Mason Taylor's bringing quite a bit of volume this week in DFS lineup. So I would slide him in there. But yeah, he is out, and of course we should mention Atlanta, Chicago, Green Bay, and Pittsburgh all on bye. So we have 4 teams on a bye. Bye season has started in the NFL. So if you have any of those guys on your rosters, please do yourself a solid. Get those guys out and make sure you do not get a 0 on your roster, your fantasy rosters, as we head into week 5 of the NFL.
I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of zeros today.
I think we're going to see a lot of zeros. We're not seeing 1-0. Minnesota hanging with the Browns in London this week. Minnesota down 17-14 to Cleveland. The debut of one Dylan F. Gabriel at quarterback for the Browns hasn't looked bad, John. 135 with a couple touchdowns.
He looks fine.
He's a rookie quarterback. The first ever rookie quarterback making his first start overseas in the history of the NFL. Are you ready to take back every negative thing you've said about Dylan Gabriel, John?
No, I am not. If I were to look right now, I'm trying to look it up at this moment. But if I were to see his ADOT, I imagine it's going to be significantly low.
What's ADOT for the folks who don't know?
Average depth of target. Okay. So meaning he's likely not throwing the ball downfield. So I think if I were to look at that, it would likely be the case. So I am in the midst of doing it.
So Dylan Gabriel, 16-25, 135 yards, 2 touchdowns. I don't know what the math is on the throwing 135 by 25.
Math ain't mathing, Roy.
Math's not mathing for the ADOT for Dylan Gabriel. All I know is the Browns have 17 points.
Yeah, dude, he's got an ADOT of 5.1. Brother, this guy isn't throwing downfield at all.
He has 17 points, which is as much as the Browns have scored in any of their last 10 games. And if they break, they haven't broken 17 points in their last 10 games.
The only good thing is it is easier to score touchdowns when you're not turning the ball over.
It is.
So
it is.
That is one good thing for Dylan Gabriel, that they are keeping the ball, which is nice.
All right, let's talk about the 1:00 games. Vegas at Indianapolis. We finally saw the emergence of one Ashton Jeanty. He could do the Michael Myers stance again, ladies and gentlemen. He is back.
Well, why did that ever change?
Chip Kelly told him to stop. Seriously, Chip Kelly told him, he's like, listen, like, this is not how running backs, like, you can't be standing up. You got to be like a running back. You got to,
Chip.
So Chip Kelly told him to stop doing the Michael Myers stance.
So I see there's still some weirdness going on with Chip.
Yes.
The emotional intelligence.
Yes.
Not good.
Well, Chip is talking to people now. He's talking to running backs now. He wasn't talking to running backs before, but now he is. But Ashton Jeanty was able to do the Michael Myers stance, and lo and behold, look, 3 touchdowns last week in week 4 for the Raiders. And the Colts allow 4.5 yards per carry, so this might be another good Ashton Jeanty spot for the Raiders. However, Raiders haven't scored 24 points in a game this season, and this Colts offense has looked pretty good this year. Is Daniel Jones? Is either Daniel Jones or CMC the comeback player of the year in your opinion?
See, that's the thing I hate. What is Daniel Jones coming back from?
That's the thing. The comeback player of the year is not coming back from being terrible, right?
Yeah, no.
Like guys win because they came back from being terrible.
Christian McCaffrey would be it for me.
For me, right, it's Christian McCaffrey.
The injury, and then not only coming back from a major injury again, which he's had to a lot in his career, but just he's carrying the entire load for them. I know a lot of people want to talk about Mac Jones, and like Mac Jones played a great game, but it is pretty telling that when Christian McCaffrey's on the field, it just seems like every quarterback works that San Francisco has. And a lot of the targets, a lot of just touches went Christian McCaffrey's way. And he's such a game-changing player. It makes everything so much easier. If you don't think running backs have value, just look at what Christian McCaffrey did and look at what Saquon Barkley did for their respective teams.
Yeah, and the thing about Christian McCaffrey is that, like, and we all said it, before our fantasy drafts, if Christian McCaffrey is healthy, he's a top 5 talent in the NFL.
Yes.
Like, he's an unbelievable talent. Like, he can do everything that you want a running back to do on a football field, and he's clearly, like, one of the more elite players in the NFL. You just couldn't count on him being healthy for 17 games. And to his credit, he is the target. Like, his target share must be disgusting because he gets every single he gets
the amount of touches he's had through 4 weeks, 4 or 5 games is pretty wild.
It's unbelievable. And he's answered the bell, like, with everybody being down, or mostly everybody in that San Fran offense being down. Christian McCaffrey's just been an outstanding player this year. But not to belabor the point, Vegas and the Colts again, offense looking pretty good. Tyler Warren leads all tight ends in receiving yards this year. Absolute stud, 263 yards. I think this is probably a pretty decent spot for the Colts. I think another line is 6.5. I know it's a pretty decent number. I kind of like the Colts in this game. I like their offense. I like it at home. I think their offense is going to be able to put up some points this week, and I think the Raiders kind of fall back to earth, especially with Brock Bowers being out.
Yeah, Brock Bowers being out is huge, just because the offense is sputtering a lot for the Raiders, and I don't know what it is. Like, I don't. A lot of people do blame Geno, and maybe Geno isn't playing his best. Turnovers have certainly been an issue, but I just think it's the whole operation just looks off. Yeah. And Brock Bowers is really one of the only players that has been able to make it work, but also Ashton Genty. They got him going. They're going to need that a lot more. But yeah, I just don't see enough from the Raiders offense, and Colts are still a really good team. I'm not taking too much away from that Rams loss. They were going to put up more points. They should have 27 points on the board there.
Right.
But it was taken off because of A.D. Mitchell fumbling the ball. But yeah,
terrible fumble.
They still look good. And Daniel Jones looked fine. Yes, a couple of turnovers is first, but this Raiders defense doesn't have the defensive line that the Rams do. So I think Colts are going to be just fine.
So I see that line now is at 7 points for the Colts.
Okay, I'm all right with that.
47.5 is still the total for that game. We got a game down in the Big Easy. We got the Giants at the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans minus 1.5 point favorites. 41.5 is the total. I think the dogs might be barking in this one, John. I'm a little bit, I won't say excited because they're the Giants and I can't get excited about the Giants. I'm intrigued by what Jackson Dart brings to that Giants offense. They actually looked pretty good last week. I mean, they beat a pretty decent Chargers team last week. Jackson Dart could do a little something with his legs. I like quarterbacks who are dual threats like that. Obviously Malik Neighbors being down is a huge thing, but Wan'Dale Robinson had 100+ targets last week. I mean, I think he can be able to step into that role and not fill in for Neighbors, but he's going to be a guy who's going to be able to get open in that short stuff. So I think this Giants offense can put up some points against the Saints. So I like the Giants today, and I guess this is an upset, but give me the Giants.
Yeah, it will end up being a slight upset because Giants are dogs. I don't love it as much. I actually kind of am going on the New Orleans side here, and I like that play a lot. Losing Malik Neighbors is a big deal.
Huge.
So I don't know how the passing game is going to be. We see this a lot with rookie quarterbacks. It is week-to-week performances vary. And I think last week was good, and I think they were really prepared for last week to make Jackson Dart comfortable. But every single week, there's going to be more on his plate, more things he doesn't see, and it's going to be sometimes erratic. And I think this is one of those games where maybe a little bit erratic. Saints, they're a bad football team, but at least somewhat competitive at times.
Hard. They play hard.
Yeah, and like Spencer Rattler hasn't been awful. He's certainly a backup quarterback in this league, but at this moment, he has not been too bad. I think the Saints can win this one, so I'm actually going New Orleans here.
Yeah, Spencer Rattler is 0-10 as a starter, but that's not really indicative of how poorly or great he's played. He's fine. Like you said, he's a fine backup quarterback in this league, and if he had better skill position players around him, he'd be fine. And again, if you've had a better running, I mean, no disrespect to Alvin Kamara, but Alvin Kamara is a running back. Like, he's kind of like a jack of all trades kind of running back. They don't throw the ball to Alvin Kamara for whatever reason this year. I don't know what the reason is for that.
Better start.
Yeah, they should start. Because this is a Giants team where you can attack, from the backfield. Last in DVA against the run are the Giants. But no, I'm intrigued by the Giants this week. We talked about Wan'Dale Robinson. $5,300 on DraftKings this week. Played 97% of the snaps last week. So I think he's going to slot a bit into that neighbor's role. Jackson Dart also $5,300 on DraftKings. The Saints have allowed the 5th most points to the quarterback position last week. Now, I'm not going to say this year. I'm not going to say Jackson Dart's going to throw for 300 yards, but I think he's in line for a pretty decent game. Shout out Taysom Hill. He is back, ladies and gentlemen, active this week. Week 5. I think Burton Jon Jansen is questionable, last I saw. So I think we're going to see a lot of that Taysom Hill, garbage, not garbage. That gadget.
That Taysom Hill garbage. Yes, Roy.
Gadget type stuff.
Garbage.
Out of Taysom Hill. So again, don't be afraid to slot him in your fantasy lineups if you're looking to stream a tight end, especially if Burton Jon Jansen is down. We got another game where the dog may be barking up the turnpike. Dallas, New York Jets. The Cowboys, I believe, are 2.5-point favorites last I checked. I want to get that in line correct. 1.5 point favorites. 48.5 is the number. That line went up a little bit as well. Cowboys, they've given up 1,237 passing yards this season in 4 games. 10 touchdowns and 1 interception. You can throw the ball all day against the Dallas Cowboys. And I know Justin Fields isn't the best thrower of said football in the NFL. But if you have a defense that's giving up more than 300 yards a game, Justin Fields, to me, I think he is a absolute smash DFS, smash fantasy start, because I think this is, if Justin Fields can't have a good fantasy day against this Cowboys team, I don't know.
I give up. And I have Justin Fields in a lot of lineups today.
Love Justin Fields.
I am all over it. I think Dallas loses this game because of their defense. Justin Fields is going to be running all over him, but I think he's going to have a good passing day as well. So Garrett Wilson, if you've been disappointed by just kind of him lately, I think he's going to have a big game. So yeah, and Dak Prescott's playing out of his mind. All credit in the world, he's playing great. But, man, you can't overcome that defense. So there's going to be times where they end up getting a tie against Green Bay, and they look good and competitive against maybe one of the best teams in the NFC. And then you can have a week where you're going to lose to the Jets, and it all makes sense because your defense can't cover anyone. And I think this is one of those games where defense really hurts them. Look, they lost to Chicago earlier this year too. Mm-hmm. They can lose to bad teams, and I think they lose to the Jets today.
Justin Fields, most rostered quarterback in DFS this week, 17.9%. Of lineups.
I imagine every quarterback that goes up against Dallas is going to be.
I would think so. Yeah,
rostered that.
Yeah,
much.
At a pretty decent number. Especially he's $5,600 this week, which is a pretty good price given the defense that he's playing. Garrett Wilson over 5.5 receptions. Last I checked, it was minus 123 for Garrett Wilson. I think he clears 6 receptions pretty easily today. So that's a really good number for me. Justin Fields on DraftKings plus 240 plus rushing and passing yards. Minus 131. I think you can slide that in the parlay today. I think 240 passing and rushing total for Justin Fields. I think that's a really good number for that. Especially Braylon Allen out for the Jets. He's going to be out for quite a bit. Breece Hall is going to get some work, but Breece Hall doesn't really get a lot of those carries inside the 20. So this might be an opportunity.
I think it's a strict Justin Fields game for me.
Yeah,
just because they get no pressure with their defensive line as well, since they traded away the best maybe pass rusher in all of football.
Yeah,
so they get no pressure, and Justin Fields is going to have all the time in the world, and I think he's going to end up running a ton all over. That's what it happened in Week 1 for Dallas.
Yeah,
I think it was very clear that not having Micah Parsons led to a lot more running opportunities for Jalen Hurts, and I think we're going to see that for Justin Fields, who is one of the best runners. The run he had last week for them was spectacular. Yeah. So he is one of the best running quarterbacks in the league, and I think we're going to see a lot of that.
I will say this about the Jets. I don't know how much of the game you saw last week. -7 turnover differential in the year, 40 penalties this year. They just look like a poorly coached team, very undisciplined.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know how much of that is Aaron Glenn, because he just got there. They're just a bunch of guys who just don't look like they know what they're doing.
Yeah, it's a bad football team. They're doing a lot of things that bad football teams do.
Yeah, but all that said, I think this is a really good spot for the Jets. So for me, smash spot for Garrett Wilson. Again, over 5.5 receptions. over 64.5 receiving yards, minus 110. John and I think this is a really, really good spot for Garrett Wilson. DFS-wise, fantasy-wise, player props, all that good stuff. Love the Jets today against the Dallas Cowboys. Miami, Carolina. Tyreek Hill out for the season. It's time for Jalen Waddle to step up, maybe wide receiver number 1. Well, we'll see against a Carolina defense. That hasn't been all that great this year. But again,
nope.
Carolina, not to be surprised that they haven't been great this year. Miami, maybe trying to save one job of Mike McDaniel. We'll see if that's we can do that. Darren Waller did everything in his power to try to save his job last week with a couple of touchdowns. I think Darren Waller and Waddle and to some extent Achane are probably going to be able to pick up that slack today at least for Tyreek Hill. I think this is just a game where Carolina probably can't keep up offensively with Miami. I mean, I know the game's in Carolina, but you still have an Achane, and well, I guess Rico Dowdle's now the running back for Carolina because Hubbard's hurt. So with the issues on offense for Carolina, and with the dynamic Achane and Waddle and now Darren Waller, who I didn't think was going to play at all this year, I think Miami's offense is probably going to be enough to kind of keep pace. Well, not keep pace, but to have a pretty good game. I like the under in this game because I just don't see how Carolina scores. But give me Miami today.
Yeah, I'd probably take Miami. Carolina, the only thing that's kind of giving me a little bit of pause, I didn't realize that Carolina has been on the road a lot to start the season.
Yeah.
So I think that's where maybe they're getting troubles. And the one home game they did play, they beat Atlanta 30-0.
Right.
So maybe there's a little bit of home cooking there, or just a little bit more comfort being at home. And that could just be road issues, but it's a small sample size for that. So don't want to take that into account too much, but they stink. That is a
but they
god awful team.
Yeah.
And they can give up a lot of offense. So I'm in on Miami today. I think Achane goes nuts. One of those games where maybe I would think he could, we've seen it before, get close to 150, 170, 200 yards. I think it's going to be
rushing or combined?
Rushing.
Okay.
I think Achane's going to be involved heavily. Maybe that can be added into passing because they need more in the passing game now that Tyreek Hill is out.
Right.
But yeah, Mike McDaniels has such a great running scheme, and I think Achane's going to go berserk on them today. So, especially because, Tyreek Hill's out. I don't think they want to throw as much.
Right.
Achane, I think, is in for a huge day.
Devon Achane rushing yards, 71.5, minus 111.
Over.
If you are so inclined. 120 rushing and receiving yards combined, plus 109. So you have plus money. I think that's a pretty good bet because they throw him the ball a ton out of the backfield.
Yeah, I think they're going to get him involved a lot.
Yeah, so they throw him the ball a ton. And Carolina, they allow 4.9 yards per carry. And Devon Achane, he's one of those running backs who can just break out a 60-yard run whenever. I don't know, John, if you're familiar with that meme of the Bugatti in the next to like the trailer in the trailer park. There's like the
yeah.
I think Tedderall McMillan is the Bugatti.
Yeah.
And then the Carolina Panthers are the trailer next to that. Tedderall McMillan, regardless of what happens in this game,
awesome.
I think he is an absolute stud. Over 5.5 receptions for him, plus 124. Love Tedderall McMillan. He's just going to be that guy who's going to get 8 or 9 targets a game. Whether I don't think he scored yet. Whether or not he scores is and all this is different. I think his floor every week is probably 11 or 12 fantasy points. So Tedderall McMillan for me, love that play. Love him in DFS. I don't know what his DFS number is, but he's a guy, regardless of anything else, is going to get the ball every single week for the Panthers. So start him if you were
all the time. He is a start. Set it and forget it. Don't ever think about it.
Yeah, $5,700 on DraftKings and DFS. Rico Dowdle, if you want to play him in lieu of Chua Hubbard.
I am having to play Rico Dowdle in some leagues this week. Roy.
I don't think it's a bad start. I really don't think it's a terrible thing. Man, we're 5 weeks in, and we were at the Rico Dowdle.
Yes.
Jeez.
Yes.
Jeez.
Roy, I'm dead inside already from fantasy football.
Oh my goodness. All right. Houston and Baltimore. Last time these two teams faced off, Baltimore won 31-2. That was that Christmas Day game on Netflix, if you guys remember from last year. Just one of the worst football games I think I've ever seen on a holiday. It was just an absolutely dreadful mess. Hopefully it's a little bit more entertaining this time around, except Cooper Rush, come on down. Cooper Rush starting for Lamar Jackson this week. Lamar Jackson dealing with a hamstring that's probably going to keep him out for a couple of weeks. I would imagine this is a big-time Derrick Henry game. So give me every Derrick Henry prop that you want to give me, and I'll probably take it. Derrick Henry, 80-plus rushing yards, minus 150. Throw that in a parlay for me. I don't see how they don't hand him the ball 20 to 25 times this week and just grind out a dub against Houston.
Yeah, they're gonna need to, and this is a really good Houston defense.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be a really tough task for Cooper Rush. And so the way to protect him, run the ball with Derrick Henry a ton, work off the play action, chew the clock out. I'm going Baltimore in this one, just because I do think they're going to be able to run, and I just hate Houston's offense. I think it's so bad in so many ways, but I'm not confident in it just because Texans defense has been very good. So there is a chance here that Cooper Rush does throw some bad passes, turns the ball over, and the running game isn't as effective or effective enough for the offense to move. So I would lean Baltimore. I am not loving that one.
Cooper Rush over under 176.5 passing yards today for Mr. Rush. Not a lot better for CJ Stroud, to be honest with you. 215.5. Yeah, that Texans offense, it's really just like Nico Collins and everybody else kind of fit in, get in where you fit in. It's been a little bit of a mess, although it seems like they figured out the running back situation. It appears that it's now Woody Marks' season for the Texans. Had 119 total yards. I imagine he's in your fantasy lineups.
No, I wish. I missed out on picking him up in free agency, but stud needs to be getting the ball.
He's the best. He's always been the best out of that group of guys. Joe Mixon aside, he's been the best running back in that group, since July. I'm not sure why he wasn't the guy before, but that being said, 119 yards, 2 touchdowns last week. Very good play in DFS this week, $5,400. Baltimore's, look, the Ravens give up a lot of yards on the ground. You saw what James Cook did to them early in the season. They've allowed 35 points 3 times this season, and they have allowed the most fantasy points to the running back position in 2025. So Woody Marks, if you want to start Woody Marks, please do so. Woody Marks is probably in line for a really good game. This is going to be just a grinded out game between two teams with kind of, questionable offenses. So, yeah, give me both running backs today in that Houston-Baltimore matchup.
Just an update.
Yes.
Dylan Gabriel's ADOT went down. It's 4.7.
You know what didn't go down? That score. 17 to 14. Dylan Gabriel leading the charge against, oh, goodness gracious, leading the charge against the Minnesota Vikings. Tennessee and Arizona. I mean, I know you have to show every game on Sunday Ticket.
No, you don't.
I mean, do we really need to see this game? Like, this
they
is
actually should give us
game.
a discount for this week.
Goodness gracious. This is a bad,
That's
sorry.
an awful game.
This is a terrible game. There's really no way to sugarcoat this. I'm sorry. And look, the Cardinals are 7.5-point favorites against a Tennessee team that has scored 3 touchdowns in 4 games. This is a Tennessee team that 32nd in points per game, 32nd in passing yards per game, 31st in total yards per game. This is an absolutely dreadful team on offense. And oh, by the way, they have 4 sacks on the season. So they can't even tackle they can't sack anybody. They can't do anything on offense. Arizona's at home, and they're only getting 7.5 points. This is just a bad football team. This is a bad game. I am smashing the under. I can't smash the under on this game more.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I think Drew Petzing needs to be kind of criticized a little bit more, called out. Again, we look at quarterbacks and we just kind of take it in a vacuum, and the way that they play is all just off of them and their performance. But man, that's a bad, poorly run offense in Arizona. So I don't love it, but I think they are, a good survivor play here. Titans offense is horrible, and Cam Ward calling them out the way that he did was actually warranted. I can't believe his coach came out a few days later, was like, we got to address things better than that. No, that's
I didn't hear that part.
Yeah,
so
something to the effect of that. And I was like, man, I don't know. Your young quarterback just really called out your team in, I think, a pretty fair way. Yeah. I mean, because it's not only you're losing football games, you are playing like the worst team in the NFL, and you are dangerously close to looking like maybe a winless team. Yeah. I don't think that's the case. But they are going to be dangerously close to it this season. So I think Arizona is a good survivor play. Titans offense just can't move the ball at all. Brian Callahan's a terrible coach. We kind of all knew that when he took over, but I think we just keep seeing examples of it over and over again, and I think there's another example.
I think the biggest thing we take away from this game is we find out what's the story in the Cardinals backfield. Trey Benson out for 8 to 12 weeks. I know everybody scrambled to pick up Trey Benson last week after James Conner got hurt. And now Trey Benson's out for another, out for 3 to 4 months. So,
we're back in the DeMercado train.
Yeah, so we got the DeMercado, but then Michael Carter, according to the word on the street, he might get a lot of work in the running game. So We'll get a little bit more
according to
clarity.
word on the street,
Yeah.
according to just
Yeah, the streets are saying
The streets are talking.
The streets are talking. They're saying Michael Carter might get some of that work. So so we will see about that. Get a little bit more clarity on that. So that does it for the 1 o'clock games. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side, we will run down the 4 p.m. games, and we'll get into Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football as well. You're listening to Countdown to Payout here on Fox Sports The Gambler.
CEOs you should know, brought to you by Comcast Business.
Tony O'Donovan, President and CEO of Arkema Inc. Arkema is a specialty materials company. Our purpose is to bring sustainable solutions to the world, which really means that we're bringing a lot of materials to companies that impact people's lives. You see them in a lot of products that you touch day to day. We have composites that can be completely recycled. Probably our biggest aspect is providing durability for materials that our customers can use. So whether it's a 3D printed machine part that can be used and that's stronger than steel used in aerospace, we see ourselves very much as part of the community. For instance, our partnership with Habitat for Humanity brings that ability to be part of the community, support Philadelphia. Our employees really enjoy volunteering and seeing the impact they bring to people's lives, particularly around areas of education. Plus, one of our areas that we are in the market of is sport. So that brings about our association with the Philadelphia Union Foundation. If I look at Philadelphia compared to other places that I've lived, we have really good people that are very well internationally connected, highly educated, and a good sense of community, and really tie into some of the values that Arkema likes to portray around solidarity, inclusion, performance. Those are values we want to have, and the people fit really well. So we find that people that join Arkema from the Philadelphia region are really successful with us.
To find out more, go to Arkema.com. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Time now for your Sunday BetMGM Baseball Buzz. A pair of Game 2s in the American League Divisional Series. In Toronto, the Blue Jays host the New York Yankees. In Seattle, Cal Raleigh and the Mariners taking on the Detroit Tigers. An off day in the National League Divisional Series. They'll resume tomorrow in Milwaukee and Philadelphia. Step up to the plate with BetMGM, an official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Bet on any MLB game to activate an odds boost token. If your boosted bet hits, you'll score a bigger payout. No opt-in is required. MLB trademarks used with permission. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for full terms. 21 plus. This U.S. promo offer is not available in Mississippi, New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, call 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 1 to 7 days. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. And that's your Sunday BetMGM Baseball Buzz.
On America's Crime Lab, the podcast, we're revealing the true story of the Idaho 4.
I was so frantic that morning and scared that the person who did this would come for me next.
They were struggling to identify a direction, a person of interest.
And I said, why wouldn't we work this case?
This 3-part series features never-before-heard interviews about a crime that shook the nation and the forensics lab that cracked the case wide open. Open your free iHeartRadio app, search America's Crime Lab, and listen now.
After I came home from Iraq, I could still hear the booms. Makes it hard to be a good mom.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
I'm Naomi Mathis, Air Force veteran.
DAV helps veterans get the benefits they've earned.
Thanks to DAV, I was able to begin to heal.
With the right support, more veterans can reach victories, great and small.
My victory is being able to be here for my children.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Severe from Vicks.
Sinex Severe nasal spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Severe instantly relieves nasal congestion and works 6 times faster than nasal decongestant tablets. The 12 hours of relief allow you to get back to the moments that matter without congestion.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Try Sinex Severe from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Get 2 #1 selling bacon cheeseburgers, Wendy's JBC, plus medium fries and soft drink for just $8. Total game changer. Order today. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Request JBC meal deal to obtain discount. Claim for independent market research company.
If you can wager on it, we're talking about it. It's The Gambler.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZzzQuil Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZzzQuil Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZzzQuil Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
Football season is back, yes, but off the field, life can hit even harder at times. Car wreck, slip and fall, work injuries, yeah, they all happen. Don't sit on the sideline after being injured, though. Only one person to call. Call attorney Big Al, 1-800-HURT-123. Big Al gets the job done, and he picks up 24/7. Big Al brings the heat both on and off the field, and he wins. That's the most important part. One more time, 1-800-HURT-123. Call Big Al today.
600,000 military families move every year. Many have school-aged kids, and most don't live on bases. In fact, they're likely living in your neighborhood. Blue Star Families is working with iHeartRadio to designate September 27th through October 5th as Blue Star Welcome Week. It's your chance to embrace the military families in your community. Blue Star Families has made it easy to do your part. Go to bluestarwelcomeweek.org to find out how. That's bluestarwelcomeweek.org.
I woke up this morning feeling like I was coming down with something. Cough, congestion, headache. My first thought was, nope, this can't happen. I have big plans this weekend. So I took Mucinex Kickstart. It provides all-in-one and done relief with a morning jolt of instant cooling sensation. Thanks to Mucinex Kickstart, I didn't even need to cancel my weekend plans. If you start feeling cough and congestion coming on, take Mucinex Kickstart for relief with a kick. At your favorite retailer. Use as directed.
Hey, want to hear something great? Right now at Wendy's, you can get 2 of the #1 selling bacon cheeseburger in all fast food, the JBC, plus medium fries and a medium soft drink for just $8. Want to hear something else great? Double the burger means double the bacon. Now that's a game changer. 2 of the #1 bacon cheeseburgers with fries and a drink for just $8. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Request $8 JBC meal deal to obtain discount. Individual items at regular price.
Dude, did you order the new iPhone 17 Pro? Got it from Verizon, the best 5G network in America. I've never looked so good.
You look the same.
But with this camera, everything looks better, especially me.
You haven't changed your hair in 15 years. Selfies? Check, please. New and existing customers can get the new iPhone 17 Pro, designed to be the most powerful iPhone ever. With eligible phone trade-in and unlimited ultimate, any condition guaranteed. Best 5G source root metrics data, United States, 1H2025. All rights reserved. Trade-in and additional terms apply for all offers. See Verizon.com for details.
Action News meteorologist Peyton Domschke. We're in for another warm afternoon with temperatures back at the low to middle 80s. That's nearly 10 to 15 degrees above average for this time of the year. And with high pressure in control, the day's going to feature plenty of sunshine. Tonight, temperatures tumble back into the upper 50s for the city, with some patchy fog in spots come early tomorrow. And if you've enjoyed this weekend, odds are you'll like tomorrow too. We're back in the low 80s under mostly sunny skies.
This report is sponsored by Straight Talk Wireless. Don't let data limits hold you back from being the gift master in the family group chat. Switch to Straight Talk Wireless and get real unlimited data on Verizon's 5G network. Straight Talk, available at straighttalk.com or Walmart.
Fall is sports season, and iHeartRadio has it all. The NFL.
Touchdown, Green Bay Packers.
MLB playoffs.
It is gone!
College football, the NHL, and NBA preseason moves are underway. From scores and reactions to interviews and hot takes, it's all at your fingertips on the iHeartRadio app.
Appreciate you taking my call, guys.
Lock in with your favorite teams with play-by-play podcasts and local stations where you can react and join the conversation. Sports on iHeartRadio, where fans live it.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Number 1 on your car radio preset and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. WDAS and WD273D Philadelphia is Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. The clock's ticking toward kickoff. This is Countdown to Payout. Your 2-hour sprint through the spreads, props, and fantasy plays that cash tickets on NFL Sunday. Now, here are your hosts, Sean Brace and Roy Burton.
Hour number 2 of Countdown to Payout, of course, is brought to you by our good friends over at Attorney Big Al. Attorney Big Al, 1-800-HURT-123. Injured at work, involved in a car wreck, there's only one man to call, and that is Big Al. Don't think twice. call 1-800-HURT-123, and Big Al will be on the call. That's 1-800-HURT-123 for attorney Big Al. Like I mentioned, hour 2 of the show, we were done all the 1 o'clock games on the Week 5 slate. Now it's time for the afternoon slate of the games here in Week 5 of the NFL. Let's talk about Tampa Bay and Seattle, one of the more intriguing games. There's only one game this week, John, featuring 2 teams with winning records.
Oh, wow.
That's the game.
Okay.
Tampa Bay at Seattle. Seattle, I believe, 3.5-point favorites last I checked. Over under 45.5. Should be a pretty competitive game, despite the fact that we are sans Bucky Irving on this one. Bucky Irving is out. Rashad White is in. Rashad White, I think we talked about him a couple weeks ago. He's looked pretty good in limited action this year for the Buccaneers. He's not Bucky Irving, but he has looked pretty good.
Yeah, he has.
In that backfield.
Surprisingly good.
Surprisingly good. Another player who's looked pretty good, Chris Godwin. First game back last week after injuring his ankle last year. 10 targets in his first game, so he should be busy. Emeka Buka should be busy against a Seattle defense that is number 1 in defensive DVOA in the NFL. So I think this is probably going to be a lower scoring slugfest. I think these 2 teams are probably going to grind it out on the ground, like we talked about with that Baltimore-Houston game. I think it's going to be a similar game this week. We got Rashad White on one side. Of course, you have Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet on the other side.
No, Zach Charbonnet. Zach Charbonnet, no.
No, Zach Charbonnet.
Why do they keep handing him the ball? Kenneth Walker's better. Just keep giving it to Walker.
You got 2 dynamic running backs.
Charbonnet dynamic.
Well, I mean, when Kenneth Walker does not play, Zach Charbonnet plays, and he plays pretty well.
Plays fine.
He plays well. He's fine. He's good. Yeah.
I don't like him.
Is this a fantasy thing, or is this just a personal?
I like just why give away carries for Kenneth Walker? Like the fact that this is a split backfield makes no sense to me.
Well, it is a split backfield, even though Tampa Bay is ranked number 1 against the rush in the NFL. We'll see who gets the most carries.
So it's Sam Darnold.
Exactly. We'll see. Yeah. Do you trust Sam Darnold to throw to Jackson Smith and Jigba and
they've had a pretty good connection this year.
Yeah, they're fine. Those guys are
fine.
And by the way, Jackson Smith and Jigba, for those of you in DFS this week, most rostered wide receiver in DFS this week, $7,100. 22.5% of rosters, all rosters have JSN. Love him. Cooper Kupp's on my fantasy team. Cooper Kupp. I saw a wanted sign out there when I went to the bathroom during the break. Haven't seen a lot of Cooper Kupp this year. Cooper Kupp, where you been, brother? I thought there was something left in that gas tank. Is the gas tank empty for Cooper Kupp? It seems like it. But no, love JSN this week. But I still see a lot of points this week. I mean, I love this game from a DFS spot for Rashad White. Love it for JSN. I don't see how these 2 teams get to 45.5. But I probably, if I had to make a pick on this game, give me the Bucs. Like I like the Bucs in this game going on the road, even though Seattle's a tough place to play. Give me the Bucs in the upset.
Yeah, one thing I do like is that I saw a quarterback wide receiver duo EPAs together, like EPAs on throws to a certain wide receiver. Sam Darnold, Jackson Smith, and Jigba were top 3 in that. They seem to have a really great connection, and I think this is going to work out well against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's corners have been really good. A lot of rookies have been really good for them. So that defense, they caused some problems for the Eagles, and I think it's a defense that could cause some problems for Seattle. But on the flip side of that too, Seattle's defense has been really good. McDonald has done a great job there. And I just think the injury to Bucky Irving hurts a lot. And I get they got Chris Godwin back, which is great, but still they're a little bit banged up. And I don't think Tampa's been all that great to start the season. 3-1 looks good. But I haven't necessarily loved the way that they have played. So I think Seattle is a good play in this one.
You like
so
Seattle?
I'm going to lay the points with that.
Okay. You think Seattle? You think Tampa's a kind of a fugazi 3-1?
I hate to say, just they're a little banged up. Like I don't know. It's been just an odd start. Baker Mayfield's still really good, and I think that's what they have. And they're a talented team. But it's in terms of like maybe contending for an NFC, I still don't see that team yet.
But they win the South, right? Or no?
They win the South.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
I think they win the South as well. We have Detroit. We have Cincinnati. We have a huge number on the board for this game, of course. Detroit laying 10.5. The total is 49.5 in this game. This is a Detroit Lions team that is averaging more than 41 points per game since week 1 against a Bengals team that has lost their last 2 games by an average of 31.5 points. Now, they have been on the road for a couple of those games. They have a new quarterback in Jake Browning, and they have just scored 13 points over that stretch. But this is a very tough spot for a Cincinnati offense that has not looked good at all since Joe Burrow has been going down. And, oh, by the way, Their offensive line, not very good. Not opening up holes for Chase Brown, not giving Jake Browning time to throw, and Aiden Hutchinson. So actually, Aiden Hutchinson's coming to town. I think
Good
Aiden
luck.
Hutchinson absolutely feast today. I don't know what his sack prop is. I'm going to look it up right now. I think Aiden Hutchinson and that Detroit Lions defensive line just goes crazy today. I think the Lions cover this 10.5 easy. I think they clear this easy.
I think they do as well. I just want to be a little bit cautious because it is 10.5 on the road.
10.5 on the road.
That's a lot of points.
A lot of points.
And I think like that should always kind of make you think twice.
Sure.
Because the NFL is a league where you get a lot of surprises, and it would not surprise me if a team has a tough time covering 10.5 on the road. I just don't see that happening. Like you said, Roy, especially with the Lions defense, they match up really well against what Cincinnati's doing.
Right.
Jamar Chase and Higgins have not gotten involved at all since Jake Browning has been starting. A lot of that, yes, can be put on the offensive line. I just think Browning also looks really bad at the moment, which is kind of surprising because he played well in other times when he's come in for Joe Burrow. But he looks bad. And the Lions offense, the point totals that they have had the last 3 games, pretty wild.
Yeah.
Like Ben Johnson left, nothing really changed much. 52 points, 38 points, 34 points. I like the Lions to cover this one.
This is a homecoming, of course, for David Montgomery. I think this is his first game he's ever played in Cincinnati.
Okay.
I believe so. Love the Lions.
You're going to see more of Knuckles than Sonic then?
So that's the thing. It's like so Cincinnati's terrible against the run, right? And Cincinnati's just terrible in general. So I'm kind of I'm kind of torn, right? Because it's like, all right, obviously Jahmyr Gibbs is a starter. He gets 60% ish of the touches, so he's probably going to get at least the early work, right? This game could be a blowout at halftime, right? And if it's a blowout at halftime, like you're probably not going to give the ball to Jahmyr Gibbs 15 times in the second half. So I think it might wind up being a game where you're going to see Montgomery out rushed and you get more rushing touches than Jahmyr Gibbs in the second half, just because the game's so out of reach. So I don't hate Jahmyr Gibbs as far as like a fantasy DFS play this week because I think he gets starter level touches this week, given the game script.
Yeah, they're going to run the ball a lot, I imagine.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's going to be an explosive offense, and it's going to be on the ground. But also, Amon-Ra St. Brown to me also can just go off in this game.
Yeah.
One of the most talented, best wide receivers this league has, and it's a good thing that he was able to get Ben Johnson and maybe showed a blueprint for what he could be in the NFL. But they have really kind of taken that and carried it over into this next offense with John Morton. They still use him in so many creative ways, and just a perfect fit for Jared Goff too. So yeah, I'm all in on Amon-Ra today.
So Amon-Ra, if you are so inclined, Amon-Ra's over/under receiving yards 71.5, -114. If you want receptions, 7+ receptions at -110 for Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'll probably go with the Jahmyr Gibbs 70+ rushing yards at -137. I'd probably throw that in the parlay. I'm gonna get some money because I think even if this game kind of gets out of hand, like I think Gibbs will be in enough to get 70 rushing yards against the Bengals. So give me Jahmyr Gibbs 70+ rushing yards on that. Washington and the LA Chargers 2.5-point favorites. I would have thought this line would be a little bit bigger, a little bit larger. I mean, I know they're coming off that loss last week against the Giants, and I know Jaden Daniels is back, but I think the Chargers are kind of a good team. I don't think they're getting enough respect in this spot at home against the Commanders. Maybe I'm
not at all.
Yeah.
I know Jaden Daniels is back, but
right, like
their defense hasn't been playing all that well.
Right.
So this is not just an offense thing. It's defense, and they're still missing the top target.
Yeah.
Terry McLaurin's
Terry
out.
McLaurin is out, right? So you have
Like,
Jaden Daniels back. Terry McLaurin's out.
It's not like when Jaden Daniels was playing, they looked like they were winning a bunch of games and they were great.
Right.
It's been a weird year to start. Even the Giants game didn't feel completely right. So yeah, I have not loved the way the Commanders played. This seems like a really good bounce back spot for the Chargers. Yeah. Look, it happens. They won on the road. They lost in New York. It's weird. I get it.
It's the NFL.
It's the NFL, and I think this line is a bit of an overreaction to everything.
Yeah.
So I am laying that with Chargers all
100%. Yeah, I agree with you.
I think it might be my favorite bet of the day.
Yeah, for me, like of any bet on the board, this is my favorite bet on the board. Chargers -2.5 against the Commanders. The Commanders backfield still a mess. We saw that Chris Rodriguez, Jeremy McNichols, and our good friend Bill, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, three-headed monster, but not much of a monster. It's like the monster under your bed. Doesn't really bite you. Doesn't really do too much to you, because again, they haven't really figured out who the top dog is in that rushing attack. The Commanders have allowed 28 plays of 15 yards or more this season. That's 7 a game. That's a lot. I mean, like they're giving up big plays all over the spot. And Now the Chargers have given the ball to their big play running back, Omarion Hampton. Welcome to the NFL. It only took Najee Harris.
Very, very good football player.
It only took 4 weeks for Najee Harris to get out of the paint, but hopefully Najee Harris will get better. But yeah, Omarion Hampton is the best running back for the Chargers. He's going to be a fantastic player. And oh, by the way, the Commanders also have the worst pass coverage grade in the NFL per PFF. This 2.5 line makes no sense. I'm sorry, but yeah, do whatever you need to do. John's favorite bet of the week, my favorite bet of the week, Chargers minus 2.5 over the Commanders this week. We love it, love it, love it.
So sorry that your favorite bet of the week is also mine. That's unfortunate
we're in
for you.
lockstep,
I look, maybe it is a very sound play, but that is a scary thought.
Geniuses
for you.
Think alike or something like that. What's the term? You know, something like that. All right, we need to talk about my new favorite player, and he's my new favorite player because you made him my new favorite player. That's Drake May.
Yeah,
Drake
you on the Drake May
baby.
train? Let's
I'm
go.
on the Drake May train.
Heck yeah.
We are 100% on the Drake. Have you seen Drake May's numbers this year?
Not bad. Yeah, really good.
He's been playing pretty well. He leads the NFL in EPA per play on 3rd and 4th down.
That's huge. I actually didn't know that stat.
He has an 88% completion percentage on 3rd and 4th down.
Wow.
88% with a 133.3 passer rating. He has a 73.2% completion percentage versus the blitz. This guy is fantastic. And I know, when you think about the Patriots, when I think about the Patriots, I think about those running backs fumbling all over the place, right? Ramondre Stevenson and all those guys just fumbling at the 1 yard line all the time. Drake May is covering up a lot of their sins on that running game. He's been really good this season. They have a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense. I'm not saying they're going to win against Buffalo. I think they keep this one pretty close. I think this is going to be a really good. I think it's going to be one of the more entertaining Sunday night football games we get this season.
He has a .675 EPA on 3rd and 4th down.
What does that mean, Jon Jansen?
That means he is really good. That is estimated points added per play. The next one, number 2, is Josh Allen at .560. .675 is a staggering number.
Yeah.
That's absurd.
He's an unreal on 3rd and 4th down this year. Unreal.
Man, I was really in on Buffalo on this game, just because I think we're discrediting maybe, or we're giving too much credit to how New England played against Carolina, and I thought there's a lot of love for Carolina or for New England in this game, and I thought maybe a little bit too much, but I just might need to stick to my guns here. I like Drake May, and maybe he is playing that well, and if he's doing that well on those key downs, that's how you say in a football game against one of the best teams in the NFL. So give me that. +7.5. Yeah, I actually like that a lot. So I'm flipping. Yesterday I was all in on Buffalo, but man, I am very convinced.
So the Bills, to their credit, they are the last undefeated team in the AFC. They're 4-0. They have won 13 straight regular season games at home. Nothing to sneeze at. And they have held opposing quarterbacks to 564 yards in 4 games, which is an unbelievable number in a passing league like the NFL. But again, to your point, when you can stay on the field on 3rd and 4th down, when you can extend drives, you're going to be in the game. You're going to be in games versus anybody, right? Like if you can kind of extend drives, be on the field, like tire out the other defense, control the clock, control time of possession. You're going to be able to hang with the Buffaloes. You're going to be able to hang with the Eagles. You're going to be hanging with the better teams in the NFL. And Drake May allows the Patriots to do that, despite the fact that the Patriots 25th in the league in rushing yards. Like they've been able to kind of keep up and be a really good offense because of Drake May and the way he's been able to kind of work the ball down the field. And oh, by the way, Drake May can do something with his legs. So
good runner.
Yeah, so he's a good runner, can extend plays, can extend drives with his legs. Again, I'm not saying that New England's going to go to Buffalo and win the game. I think it's
more just New England has been competitive, and there are things they were doing extremely well. Those numbers surprise me with Drake May.
They're unbelievable for a second year quarterback with those pieces at wide receiver. I mean, Hunter Henry is whatever, but
nice. So I got you bought in on Drake May.
I'm in on Drake May.
So I have you out on Bo Nix, or were you already out?
Ask me at 4:15 today.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I shouldn't be talking crap about Bo Nix too much because I am concerned about this.
Now, can you sell me also on a quarterback in Jacksonville? Can you sell me on Trevor Lawrence? Because Trevor Lawrence is hosting Patrick Mahomes, who obviously is one of the greatest to ever do it. I don't know if it's a good spot for Jacksonville. I don't know if it's a bad spot, but I don't know if it's a great spot for Jacksonville. Considering that Patrick Mahomes 5-0 in his career against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think I don't want to say Kansas City flipped the switch, but remember, like you and I had talked about the Kansas City Baltimore game, and we're like, the only reason you're going to pick Kansas City is because they're Kansas City, and at some point they're going to realize they're Kansas City, and it's going to do Chiefs things, and they did that against Baltimore. I think that ball's kind of going downhill a little bit for Kansas City. I think this is a really good spot for them to kind of keep it going. So give me the Chiefs.
It can be. I think Jacksonville's feeling themselves a little bit though.
Okay.
It was really good last week that they were able to get their wideouts a lot more involved because their wideouts have been playing poorly.
Yes.
So that is a big part of their offensive woes, and also turnovers a little bit were. I think that works kind of hand in hand though with the wide receiver thing and turnovers. So everything kind of got better. There were no turnovers last week. There were not a lot of miscues. So if they stay clean, I think they do have a chance to win this game. And I actually am taking Jacksonville to win this game. I know we saw a really great game out of Kansas City last week, and Patrick Mahomes played great. I don't think it necessarily means everything is fixed. There's still some things to work on in that offense, and Jacksonville's secondary has been sticky. They've been very good. They have probably the best pass rushing duo in the NFL with Trayvon Walker, but I think Walker, is he still hurt? He's questionable, so we'll see if he does play.
Yeah.
But if he does, him and Josh Allen Hines have been awesome.
Fantastic.
I think they can absolutely get after Patrick Mahomes. So this is a good Jaguars defense. They run the ball well, even though Kansas City's defense is really great against the run. So this has to be more. This has to be more in the passing game. And so, yes, easily like, hey, that's all on Trevor Lawrence. It's a bit on like Brian Thomas Jr., step up. Like you've had some pretty bad games, step up. Parker Washington has been really good. Dami Brown has dropped some passes, especially he's dropped one in the end zone. This is where like pass catchers step up, be better, and the quarterback has to be better too. And they're going to have to win based off of that. But I do like the Jags. I think maybe this is a good time to take them because I think Cohen's done a really good job.
Yeah, Brenton Strange, of course, one of their pass catchers, leads Jacksonville in targets and yards, 19 targets, 182 yards, double-digit fantasy output in 3 out of 4 games this year, despite not scoring a touchdown. On the other side of that, you have a possibly unrosterable Travis Hunter as wide receiver for the Jaguars.
Yeah, it looks like he's starting to play more defensively now.
Yeah, like you.
By the way, he's better on defense.
Yeah,
he should be playing the majority of the time.
He should be on defense. I understand that he's probably going to get. It's probably an easier pathway or runway for him to get paid on offense, but I think he's a better defender, better cornerback than he is wide receiver, at least at this point. But he's almost unrosterable as far as fantasy purposes. You mentioned Josh Hines Allen, 1 sack this year, but he's ranked among the top 20 edge rushers according to PFF. Trayvon Walker is in the top 25. So you have 2 top 25 edge rushers on that Jacksonville team.
That's so good.
Yeah, it's a really interesting spot. Like, there's just something about Liam Cohen that just doesn't, like, I'm not there yet, And I think part of that was that weird little interaction he had with in
the beginning, Duval. Oh yeah,
the Trevor Lawrence thing.
Yeah, that interaction. Yeah, I guess. I didn't take too much from that, to be honest.
Yeah, like Trevor just kind of waved him away. It was a little weird. Look, we know of coaches who do weird things on the sideline. All right, we are very aware of that here in Philadelphia. It happens just about every game with Nick Sirianni. But to see a quarterback kind of wave off his coach like that was a little weird. Yeah, but it is what it is. But that should be a very interesting game on Monday night. Again, KC, 3.5-point favorites. Before we get out of here, actives today, Juwan Johnson is active for the Saints. Jaden Blue finally active for the Dallas Cowboys.
Good Lord. I've had him stashed in a couple of leagues for a while because I think he's such a great talent. Why not use him? Why was he a healthy scratch? That never made sense to me.
Didn't make sense to me. I was screaming for like all summer. I'm like, he's the best running back in that running back room. Was a healthy scratch for the first couple of weeks. Now he's there. Hopefully his Louis Vuitton cleats are fine. Did you see that story? He had Louis Vuitton cleats on at practice, but they gave him blisters. He had blue Louis Vuitton cleats on at practice.
Maybe just wear regular cleats.
Just wear regular cleats. I know, like you're a healthy scratch. You're already in the doghouse. Like, just let's not do things to bring yourself attention. But Jaden Blue active this week. Miles Sanders inactive this week. Dexter Lawrence active this week. No Kyle Hamilton. No Ronnie Stanley for the Ravens. So the Ravens a lot of bit banged up. No Roquan Smith, obviously. no Lamar Jackson. A lot of bit banged up for those Ravens. Should be an interesting game.
How about this? Carson Wentz driving down the field in the final minute. Maybe a little game winner here.
Listen, you were the one who doesn't think that Carson Wentz has that dog in him.
No,
Carson Wentz has
he has had a million opportunities in this game to finally take the lead, and it looks like
there you go, Carson Wentz.
Jordan Addison, what a catch!
2 weeks in a row, touchdown to Jordan Addison. Hopefully, that's enough for the Vikings to seal this one against the Cleveland Browns. It'll be a really good win for the Vikings against a Browns team that, again, is very good, has been very good on defense, especially against the run. 123 on 7 catches for Justin Jefferson today. So hopefully he's off the schneid a little bit, and that Vikings offense looks pretty good going forward. All right, Jon Jansen. I'm not going to make you stand up because we used to stand up when me and Brace. Well,
Wait, really?
I guess
Do you
the
want
one time I did the show with Brace, I don't know if he's ever coming back, but when we did a standing on business, I would ask Brace to stand up and give me his strong take. So,
oh wow,
if you want to do it, you can do it, but it is now time to stand on some business.
This is Standing on Business, where we separate the winners from the losers, the real from the fake.
Jon Jansen, I'm going to give it to you right now. You're going to see top 16 fantasy performances from both Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery today. I think the Lions run all over the Bengals, cover that 10.5 easily. Both of those guys are top 16 running backs by the end of Sunday. Both of them. Both get to the house.
Okay.
I'm standing on that.
You know what? I'll stand with my boy here a little bit.
There we go.
I think you're going to see a top 10 fantasy day out of Trevor Lawrence on Monday night. We have seen. It's not like he hasn't beaten good teams. He has. Remember, he beat Josh Allen in London.
He did.
He has performed well in big games. I think last week was a step in that direction, I think, for everybody. And tomorrow is going to be a huge leap in that direction for Trevor Lawrence and really the passing game for Jacksonville.
That'd be a really good win. Obviously, it's
huge
Chiefs,
win.
But that'd be a huge win for that team. Yeah, like, again, I just wish I was sold a little bit more Liam Cohen. Like, because I look at that team and, like, they're fine, right? Like, they have talent, right? Brian Thomas Jr. is talented. They're
it's surprising that they have more probably talent on defense.
Yeah, like their defense is fantastic. Like the wide receivers, whatever. Like Brian Thomas is great, but like the other guy, the running back room's fine. Like the running back room is one of the better ones.
That's the part I like.
Right, like the running back room's fine. Like,
ETN has looked rejuvenated in this offense,
Yeah.
and Liam Cohen did this in Tampa Bay too. It was always going to be, does this scheme? How much does it help the offensive line?
Right.
Like the offensive line play is going to get better because of the scheme, but it's just like how much better is it going to get? Jacksonville's offensive line is blocking very well in the run game.
Very well.
So I think that is a huge testament to Liam Cohen's scheme and running style, and I think we're still going to see that even against a really good run-stopping defense against the Chiefs. So yeah, and Tootin was a really great draft pick. So yeah, love kind of everything that's going on a little bit in Jacksonville. Again, miscues and some turnovers at times, but I think it's all going in a very good direction.
All right. I appreciate the optimism as it comes out of you, even though you are a little biased towards.
I am a little bit.
I think it is now time. We have a few minutes left. It is now time to break out the crystal ball because I have something that we alluded to it in the first segment, but I'm just going to kind of break out the magic 8 ball a little bit here and kind of give my prediction. So it is now time for our crystal ball segment of the show.
Every coach has a game plan. Every bettor has a hunch. But we've got the crystal ball. Let's see what the future holds.
All right, so I have pulled out the crystal ball, Jon Jansen, and I think that this is going to be a pretty bad day for this Eagles passing game.
Oh,
I think we're all finally gonna have that moment on Monday that come to Jesus meeting and say, look, we all gotta have this discussion. I know some of us already have the discussion. Like, what's wrong with this Eagles offense? I think everybody, after this loss, I think the story on Monday is, all right, what do we need to do in order to fix this running game? And I don't know but this passing game, and I don't know what the answer is, right? Because you can't, I think the issue is largely this offensive line, and it's the offensive line is not playing well, right? So it's like, you can't sign a guy. Like, what are you going to, make these guys sit out? Because Dickerson's hurt, right? So, like, does he sit out the Giants games? Does he sit out a couple weeks to get healthy? Is that how you improve the like? I don't know how you.
Maybe giving him rest could
Right.
be like,
Like,
you got to start thinking about it.
I don't know how you can make this passing game better other than giving Landon Dickerson rest. So I think that's going to be the thing that we talk about Monday morning, Monday afternoon, whatever you have you. This passing game looks anemic once again, and now we have to figure out what the solution is.
So maybe we could be talking about a new NFC contender. We have 2, 3, and 1 teams in the NFC, Tampa Bay and Seattle.
Okay.
I think Seattle makes their first statement win for Mike McDonald.
Okay.
And we're talking about Seattle possibly as one of the better teams in the NFC, a contender, maybe division winner there in the NFC West. But I think Seattle after this week is going to be 4-1. We're talking all these great things about Darnold because of the way he played last year. And maybe that's just a Kevin O'Connell thing, or maybe it's just a Sam Darnold thing. So, yeah, I think we're going to be talking a lot about Seattle this upcoming week.
Is Sam Darnold good?
I think it might be good.
Okay.
I think it genuinely might be good.
I think you're right. I mean, because last year he was just
phenomenal.
Phenomenal, right? And like I don't think we can expect that last year in this situation, given the talent around him, things like that. It's a little bit different. But yeah, if Seattle beats Tampa Bay, and I think Tampa Bay is a nice plucky team. They're a really good, like you mentioned, very good defensive team. So if Seattle beats Tampa Bay, yeah, they're wow, it sounds weird to say. But if Seattle wins today,
the 4-1, they're looking good.
They're no worse than a top 3 team in the NFC.
Yes,
if they win today.
I guess it feels weird to think that,
right? It doesn't
because
sound right.
the week 1 game didn't go well against San Francisco, and there was a little bit of this is the real Sam Darnold in an environment that isn't Kevin O'Connell's. But we could be talking about a 4-1 team that looks really good and maybe one of the top teams in the NFC.
Right. It's like all right, let's assume they win today, right? What teams in the NFC are clearly better than Seattle?
I would just go maybe Eagles, Green Bay, but even Green Bay has looked a little after the really great start.
What about Detroit?
Yeah, Detroit too.
Yeah.
Detroit too. My bad. Yeah, Detroit too.
Okay. Yeah, like it's probably those 3, and then depending on what happens today. I mean, Green Bay's not going to move today, but look, if Seattle looks really good today, then maybe they jump Green Bay. But other than that, like Seattle is no worse than a top 4 team if they beat Tampa Bay today. Which again sounds weird to say out loud.
Yeah, it's kind of great.
Gosh, man. So wait. So we have Seattle, possibly a top team, and then you have Jacksonville beating Kansas City.
Oh man, I'm setting myself up for some
John Jansen is, he's a champion of the.
I'm
underdog.
a glutton for punishment.
He's
Roy.
a champion of the underdog, ladies and gentlemen. He loves those underdog stories. Probably gonna tell us a lot of underdog stories when he goes to the film fest in a couple of weeks.
I can't wait.
Breaks down all of those films that no one's heard about, but are going to win tons of awards.
Yes, these are the ones that some of these will be talked about for like award season and stuff. So, maybe I'll be giving a little preview for everyone of what that could look like.
So hopefully we were talking about the Eagles come award season. Hopefully this possible win against the Broncos will come a long way to that. But again, thank you guys for joining us here on Countdown to Payout here on Fox Sports The Gambler. It was a fun show, John, as always.
Yeah.
Man.
Thanks for having me again.
We got to change the intro.
This is my show now. This is our show.
This is John Jansen.
Sean, get out of here.
We got to change the logo. We got to change the sounder. We got to change all this stuff.
Just plaster my face all over this show. I am now a part of it.
Too much Sean Brace here. He don't even show up to work anymore.
No,
this is a John Jansen show. John Jansen production.
This is a John Jansen, Roy Burton show.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you guys as always for tuning in here on Fox Sports The Gambler. Not sure if we'll be here with you next week, but we'll figure those things out. Follow us on all things social at Fox Sports The Gambler for that info. But as always, as we get out of here, ladies and gentlemen, go Birds.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
All jammed up on the eastbound Schuylkill Expressway from 476